You watch the submarines come up?
Yeah.
You watch the
Yeah, he did.
That's good,
That's a
that's
Spader.
good.
You were on your knees? Yeah, why were you on these, sir?
Yeah.
We got you a set of knee pads for your birthday.
What?
Knee pads.
She says you never
Said your knees were good.
Alright, so what I wanna do is like, just to, I wanna look around the
Did you get a
room
picture of the
and
table?
just like talk about the people that are here. Okay, I'll tell you a little story about everybody. Right, John? Wally, nice camera.
You like that, huh? I'll let you use it someday.
Sound like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas. So I'm gonna start with Rose.
Are you gonna sing Cheating Heart or not?
No, I'll sing the Chooch for you. My mother and father used to beat the shit out of me because I never. Nice. Because I would never practice, you know.
Yep.
So,
They told you could quit, but you wanted to play, so you had to play.
yeah, but it was like the mafia, man. Once you get in, you can't get out. And you know, I would go for these lessons at my Uncle Rocco's pizza shop. You know, all the family knew about Rocky's, you know, and. You know, I was a terrible student, I never practiced it. He would get so mad and my time was bad, he would step on my foot and he's throwing these pizzas in the air, right? He's throwing these pizzas and when they come, good, listen up.
I don't want to.
Please,
Go ahead.
okay, come on. He's throwing these pizzas in the air and yelling at me at the same time. And when the pizza would come down, and I talk about this in the DVD, the pizza would come down and all the flour would go all over me. And I was, you know, I was a fat chooch when I was 12. I was like 210 pounds.
Tell over there.
Yeah, and my mother fed me constantly. So I go, you know, I go running out of the back on that little Bronco. Remember you come down on the Bronco, it's like, Dad! I'd be crazy. He's like, what's the matter, Jordy? Let's get out of here. Uncle Rocky's trying to kill me. So then I remember he was making the Coca-Cola with the syrup and the
Salsa.
yeah, syrup and the salsa, right? And my father said, come on, Georgie, don't be afraid. It's okay, get in there. And he pushed me through this little hole, and Rocco said, get in there, you little bastard! So then I would go home like with all this flour all over me, but they never said anything because they knew that I was at Rocky's Pizza Shop. And, you know, and when I started to go to Berkeley and meet these guys, everyone was like, oh, where'd you learn how, no, see, well, where'd you guys learn to do? Well, I went to the Conservatoire. And I went to the Belgium Institute. And where'd you learn, guys? Oh, I learned how to play in the back of my Uncle Rocky's Pizza Shop. And it's a wild story, but that, you know, that guy was, I mean, he was really connected. And, you know, I remember all of this because of how strong, you know, that Spader background was, you know, what it did for me. I mean, he really, you know, put me where I am today, like with the family.
Where are you?
I'm right next to you, Rose.
Japan.
And, you know, like having the, you know, you never realize when you're a kid, you go to these weddings and you look up and there's Cousin Richie playing, and Uncle Rocco, and Uncle Joe playing the drums. And I remember the first few gigs, they took me to the gig and I didn't even play. I would sit next to my Uncle Joe, and Joe's like, Georgie, just watch, okay? So like I'd sit a whole gig and they're like playing, and Richie's blowing, and you know, Rocco's at the helm. And you know, I was only 12, and then by the, right before I was 13, they were like, okay man, now you get up here and start playing. And back then, the gigs weren't like, oh, let's play Strangers in the Night in 5/4. They would throw up 2 fingers or put down 1. So you didn't know what the tune was. So I was like, what the hell's going on, you know? So they'd play All the Things You Are in 1 key. Then Rocky would go 2 down, and then they're in 1 key and they jam into the next key, right? So there was this one moment when the 2 key areas collided, right? And that's where the formation of the Fringe came in, right? The collision. People are dancing around, they don't know what's happening, they're just going through the beat, and they didn't realize that the next avant-garde capacity was on the way. You know? So anyway, One of the biggest presents I got this year was yesterday playing duo with my son who's about to graduate from UNLV. Happy birthday! Yes, it's Brad's birthday. He's a typical Garzone with a kick butt musician and gorgeous Korean girlfriend. And I'm going to go and play his recital, and then he's going to graduate, right, Answer, May? Hey! Then he's going to go out and make me famous, and I can retire next year. So, go around.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just trying to keep every entertainment happy. I'm coming over there. So then my first record that anyone ever gave me that was considered a real jazz record was by my Uncle Frank. I don't know if he remembers. Do you? He gave me Sonny Meets Hawk. I had my appendix out while I was listening to that record. Right? Sonny Meets Hawk and Swing Into Spring with Benny Goodman. And Stan Getz. Who did? I didn't appreciate anything because I was too young. All I remember is sitting next to that stereo you had, Ma, right? The console, you know, trying to imitate Stan Getz. And come to find later, you know, there was a close similarity in the sound. But, and then we went on and, you know, every wedding was a family band playing. And, you know, as a little kid, you don't realize that, you know, what's happening to you. These guys are nurturing you. I mean, Rocky, like, tortured me to death, but it paid off. I mean, you know, it was the real Calabrian way of learning how to play. Gabadosh, pop, fucking reach, you know? But, you know, this is the way I teach these kids now. It's like you gotta be stern with them because they don't get it. I didn't get it. The guys have done me too. So anyway, so then moving on to Rose and then Mary and Uncle John. Uncle John, like, to me, was like Joe Pesci. Like, he would wear the white shoes and the white pants and the gold chain. He's like, come on, Johnny, how can you listen to music in the car after you've been playing all day? Right? And then we worked in the hospital, right, Bob, in the end with Robert Brigham. And I think he disowned me the day I quit. Oh, that's right, you're recording this. He disowned me the day I quit. Yeah, I said, I had just come back from the Tom Jones tour, right, a year with Bobby, and we, you know, we were everywhere doing everything, their own private jet. And then the next day I'm back in Boston, work cleaning guinea pig. Uncle John, right? I was like, no, Uncle John, this isn't happening. So I'm not going to do this anymore. I think really he disowned me that day. Right, man?
Never. Never.
So, all right, where are we? Any questions? Then Roseanne, she was always
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. That's what I say. Oh, go ahead.
she was always a pain in the ass for me. She was always torturing me.
I
But
still do.
yeah, that's right. Come to find later in life that, you know, it would be her and I and the rules that would, you know, keep the whole thing going. But, you know, so I'll just go around. My mentor and teacher, Frank Tiberi, he's the reason and part owner, whether he realizes it or not, of the triadic chromatic approach. You know, it's something we derive from the Coltrane.
Frank, you want residual?
You know what to do? Buy the DVD.
You
So-
make me buy it too.
You did, didn't you? You didn't buy that one?
He gave me one, Grim.
So anyway,
Good shot, did you?
I know I'm
Yeah.
talking too
Yeah,
much.
thanks.
So Frank lives in Easton, the next town over from me, and when Lovano told me that, hey, guys, Frank Tiberi's going to be living in Boston, I just figured he was in town, but then when he said Easton, you know, to have a genius type so close to you and to be able to, you know, be mentored by someone like that, you know, it's an experience that not too many people can get, not to mention when we go to the Charlie Horse and scratch $20 tickets, right,
right.
and hit our own waitresses.
And lose.
Oh, the scratch-offs or the waitresses?
The what?
The scratch-offs or the waitresses?